What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? What is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Beat of KC. My name is Lucas Murphy, and we're going to jump right into this. I'm not going to hesitate. I'm not going to kind of fumble over stuff. We're pretty frustrated, I think, as a group of the events that kind of unfolded, but I really think we just kind of need to discuss really what we saw. So we're going to try to keep some organization to this, but I think we're really just going to kind of talk in general of what we witnessed in this first game against the Chargers in Brazil. Michael, I'm going to start off with you first. And how I want to kind of direct this question is, I know there's a lot of things that obviously we saw that need to be improved on. I mean, we're just being honest. But if you really had to focus on just one group, what would you say just really is kind of the limelight, the bright spot of why we lost this football game?
I mean, I thought our defensive backs, for the most part, and specifically the safeties, were bad. I mean, Chamarri Conner, man, I just don't understand what he has on Steve Spagnuolo's family or his loved ones or something. I don't understand why he gets thrown in these positions. And before I hand it over to Josh, he mentioned it earlier. The biggest thing that I think we should be upset about, furious about, that pass rush tonight, complete crap. I mean, just horrible. The only way they got pressure was if they blitzed, and Drew Tranquill was the only guy that could actually hit the quarterback. So, I mean, if that's the case, the Chiefs are going to go 0-17 this year if they can't touch the quarterback. Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, Michael, you really laid it out for me because this is my topic, right?
Put it on the tee for you, Josh.
Well, it's just like, man, I've been saying this, and I said it in the last video we did together for Michael's channel. I'm like, hey guys, Mike Dana, Eric Nottie, Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, like this is what we're rolling out in 2025. Like, does no one else see a problem with this? And it's not even just that they struggled, but this was one of those matchups that on paper they should have dominated. The Chargers were without Rashawn Slater. That should have been the hit to their offensive line that allowed the Chiefs to exploit the Chargers' offensive line. And it's just like they have no one that can take advantage. And Lucas, you really hit on it in that video that we did with Michael last. And you said, George Karlaftis, it's time to show why you got paid, bud. And it just feels like he can't do anything without Chris Jones holding his hand. Mike Dana, and I feel bad for the guy because it always seems like I'm ragging on him. And it's not that I dislike him because I think he's great in a rotation role, but he's just not it. Like, you need more than Mike Dana. Like, Mike Dana's not fixing any problems with this pass rush. He can't get after the quarterback. And it's just extremely frustrating because, Joshua Uche, if you guys watched that Eagles-Cowboys opener last night, he was wreaking havoc on the Cowboys offensive line, and the Chiefs couldn't find a role for him last year. And it just frustrates me. And I think, you kind of have to go outside the organization to fix these problems because, I'm sure we'll get into the cornerbacks and the safeties and the linebackers. But here's the thing. The thing with those positions is I think the Chiefs have the talent there. They'll improve. I'm not sure they have the talent on the defensive line. And one of the names I would have loved to see them bring in, well, of course, Howie Roseman scooped him up earlier this evening. Classic, right? It's just one of those things, man. I really wish, and I don't know if it's more Veach or Spags or whoever, but they've got to widen the net when it comes to adding to this defensive line. You can't just keep bringing the same spent players back over and over again. And, one guy that I really like, and I'm not just saying this because he had a good game tonight, but Teair Tart wreaked havoc for the Chargers tonight against the Chiefs. And that guy was available for dirt cheap. He signed a 1-year, $3.5 million contract with the Chargers this offseason. I wanted him 2 years ago when he was a free agent. And it's just like we're stuck with Derek Nottie in 2025. It's not enough, man. And that's my biggest concern. And that's why it'll be my biggest concern coming out of the game because I don't think the talent is there to fix it.
Right. And I think to really kind of culminate this entire discussion, obviously Darcy hit on the secondary, which was perfect, is what I was kind of targeting. You obviously countered that with the defensive line. I'm going to pair it all together. And I mentioned it when we've talked even off camera. The fact that if you're not getting a pass rush, you have to be able to play good quality defense in the secondary. Because you're allowing that quarterback to have as much time as he wants in the pocket. Like, I joked on Twitter and I said, it's pretty much like, Herbert's back there taking a nap. Like, he's not even coming close to being touched. And so if you're not able to get to the quarterback, you have to be able to play lockdown defense. And we were really playing a lot of zone and just giving up the under, and really giving up a lot of yak. And so I don't know. To me, I think looking back on it, and they'll kind of look on it too, I think it came down to a game plan situation. So that's my next question. Obviously, it is a talent issue in some aspects, but also at the same time, do you guys feel that this is just it was just a poorly game planned situation coming from Spags in this situation? Darcy, I'll start with you.
I mean, it definitely was, but Lucas, I mean, that was a Super Bowl 59 hangover. It looked like the same game in the beginning of the, to start. And so it's just like, I don't know. And, we talked about how, okay, we don't want to overreact too much because, again, it is week one,
Right.
and no team is actually going to look like what they look like in week one, even 3 weeks from now. But I mean, it was brutal to watch some of that, defense take the field. I mean, they were leaving guys like Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen high school wide open. Like, I'm talking like we could have caught the ball if we were that wide open. And that's a problem because why are these guys not even in the area? I understand getting beat. McConkey's great. Keenan Allen's a very good wide receiver. But the fact that guys aren't even in the area to contest those throws, and when you pair that with the fact that Herbert's got 10 minutes to sit back in the pocket and throw, you're not going to win.
Right. So, Josh, my question to you is now obviously we've seen kind of like that first game, and I obviously I'm hitting on kind of the coaching aspect here, but do you feel that this exposes the Chiefs being week one to other teams that we're getting ready to square off against? I mean, we have the Eagles getting ready to come into town. We're getting ready to play the Baltimore Ravens. Our schedule is very, very difficult, especially after seeing this first game. Like, that kind of created some realism because we have high expectations for this football team. We're talking about Super Bowl contenders continuously, AFC Championship winners continuously. Does this expose maybe some weaknesses in what the Chiefs have?
Yeah, I think so, because I think outside of the offensive line, a lot of the issues you saw that spelled trouble for the Chiefs, season finale last year in the Super Bowl, there were a lot of the same issues in this game. And because, like, I just think, I compare it to Super Bowl 55, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where all the talk was about the offensive line, and rightfully so, because it was terrible. Same thing in the most recent Super Bowl against the Eagles. But I feel like the offensive line was so bad that it kind of overshadowed the fact that, hey, the defense wasn't very good either, and we couldn't get pressure on Jalen Hurts. And that looked like a problem again tonight. And I know we kind of just already hit on that. And I agree with you and Michael about this being a coaching issue with Spags as well. I don't like a lot of the looks that they were giving the Chargers. I mean, just playing so far off the receivers, that certainly didn't help. And, I don't think that I'm already seeing the conversation on social media about how Justin Herbert's this great and Quentin Johnson looks awesome and Keenan Allen 2025 looks like, himself from 5 years ago. And it's like, is that really the case, or did the Chiefs just make them look good tonight? I think the Chiefs just made them look good with their horrible game plan and their performance that they had out there tonight. But my biggest concern now, Lucas, is that you're kind of staring 0-2 down the barrel here with the Eagles coming to town. Because if you can't beat the Chargers in week one with no Rashawn Slater, I fear what the Philadelphia Eagles are going to do to this team again in a Super Bowl rematch. And it's not entirely the Chiefs' fault because they're also suffering with some injuries now.
Right.
Really quickly, what was very ironic about that game, about the Chiefs-Chargers game? The Chiefs' defense, for the most part, kind of stopped the run. Like, when the running back, his name, Omarion Hampton, when he was running the ball, I mean, we can look at his stats, I don't think he had that great of a game. They actually did a pretty good job of stopping the run, but Herbert, made it look like Swiss cheese.
Well, and can I say something too, Lucas, before you take it back? I think that was kind of what we all expected, right? Was the Chargers, especially with Jim Harbaugh at head coach, like they were going to come out and run the ball. And I think that was intentional. They knew that everyone thought they were going to run the ball, and then they came out and said, "No, we're gonna come out throwing," and then it worked, and they're like, "Well, we're just going to keep on doing this if this is how easy it's going to be."
Right. Yeah, and I kind of looked up a little bit of some stats, so I'll just kind of sling some of this out there really quick just because I thought this was interesting. Herbert's obviously night. He became just the third Chargers quarterback to open the season with 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, And then his 19-yard rush on that 3rd and 14 late in the game helped seal the win, obviously. I thought that was pretty fascinating to think, like, I mean, he really had one of the best possible games a Chargers quarterback could potentially have. And I mean, that explains why they're 1-0. My last question to you guys and I really kind of think about this because, Darcy hit on it. You guys, Josh, you've hit on it too. Like, this is just one game. Where is we kind of have like a figurative scale, like a meter of concern. Where would you say your meter is on that scale right now? Obviously, it is, again, just week 1, but where are you at with that meter? Are you concerned? Are you really concerned? Or are you in full panic mode? Where are you at, Darcy?
I'm going to say 10%, and that might be a little bit low. I want to see what they look like, 5 weeks from now, because guess what? If they rattle off 5 straight wins and they're 6, or I guess if they're 5-1 going into week 7, then okay, we're all right. But if they sputter and let's say they, lose 2 more games before week 7, it's going to be tough. I mean, this division is so good, but I think that something that makes this loss feel better, if I could say that, the Chargers are a great team, very well coached. It's a divisional game. Divisional games are always tough. They're technically the road team in this situation, even though there were a lot of Chiefs fans in Brazil. There were also a lot of every fan in Brazil. I don't know if you saw the jerseys in the crowd. I saw Tom Brady jerseys. I saw Saints jerseys. Every jersey you could possibly imagine was in attendance. But I would give it about 10% because it is week 1. I don't want to overreact too much. But as we've kind of discussed in this video, there's a couple things that I don't know if they have the horses in the stable to correct.
Right. Josh?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm a little bit higher on the worry scale than Michael. I'd probably put it at about a 35% right now. And I think it would be less if it wasn't the fact that the Chiefs' schedule is very tough to start the season. It's just like you can't get caught slipping at this point because you could very easily start the season 0-3, 1-4 if you don't start correcting things now as soon as possible. The reason I'm worried mainly is what Michael just said, because it's mainly my personal thoughts that the Chiefs didn't have enough on the defensive line coming into the season, and that was just confirmed in game 1. And I think this has potential to look a lot like the 2021 season where the defense is so bad, especially because they can't get pressure on the quarterback, and that then forces Patrick Mahomes to press a lot like what we saw tonight, and he has to pull a rabbit out of a hat every time, or at least he feels like he has to, and then that's going to result in some wacky things on offense, and it's just a recipe for potential disaster.
For sure. No, I think this was a great recap. I think we're keeping, for the most part, I think we're keeping level heads. We all understand that this was one game. My biggest takeaway is the fact that it is an AFC West opponent. That automatically puts you at 0-1 in the division. For us trying to get, I believe, 10 straight division titles, this kind of puts you at an early disadvantage. Now, we have a lot of season left, and, like Darcy hit on, like, we're going to improve. Like, they're not just going to sit on their hands and not get better. I mean, that's going to be obvious that they're going to try to improve. So I really appreciate you guys joining. I appreciate the recap. I think we really kind of provided some realism. At the same time, we're keeping our level heads because, again, we're Chiefs fans at the big picture. We are Chiefs fans, but at the same time, we're evaluating like what we're seeing from a talent perspective and what we saw tonight. And I think it just was not a good performance. And I think you both would agree. So we're going to wrap this video up. I appreciate everybody checking this out. Let us know in the comment section what you guys are concerned with. What areas do you think need to improve the most? It'd be awesome to hear from you in the comment section. Before we wrap it up, we do this for every video because we want to share and get everybody's stuff out there. Darcy, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on YouTube at KC Sports Report, and you can listen to me every day during the week on The Zone from 10 to 2.
There it is, Josh.
You can find me here on YouTube. Show Me Football is the channel name. Check out my work, showmefootball.com, and then follow the Twitter at ShowMeFB.
Guys, their links will be down below. Click on there. Go give them a subscribe, a follow, and let Josh know that Missouri is going to lose tomorrow. At least there's going to be one good thing coming from this
Someone's going to have a really rough weekend out of this panel, and man.
Well, I told my wife before I came up here to start knocking out some content, I was like, if Mizzou doesn't win tomorrow, like, something in this house is going to break.
I kind of said the same thing. Well, I appreciate you all checking this video. I end every video the exact same way. Have a good day. All right.